Hello everyone. Welcome to Chair
Hello.
Champions Talk. I am Gabriel,
And I'm Noah.
and today we have a special episode. We were going to talk about the Meet the Robinsons animated film, but
Due
schedules.
to certain businesses and deadlines, we were not able to find the time.
Right. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to watch. We will hopefully next week we'll be able to do this, but luckily we had other things on the Rolodex, such as Helluva Boss.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Forewarning, this may be a grittier episode than usual.
Yeah. It's a forewarning for any kids watching. This is the Helluva Boss is a adult cartoon. Yeah, it's an adult cartoon, so it's not for kids. So any kids watching this, you're in trouble, and I'm gonna call your mother, and she's gonna be upset. Don't ask how I know your mother's phone number.
And cue the creepiness.
So, a little insight onto it. Helluva Boss is a animated series on YouTube by Vivian. I think it is. Her channel is Vivziepop. Some of you may probably know her from her old what was it called? The Zoophobia series, comic series back in the day. She's done some animations and whatnot, and she's also the creator of what is it? It's the other hell-based one.
Has-Been Hotel.
Has-Been Hotel, yes. Which So if you know Has-Been Hotel, that, from what we know, is something that she's planning to get as a more official series. Maybe get it noticed by a company and whatnot.
Yeah, like an actual TV show.
Right. Whereas Helluva Boss, which is more of a YouTube series that I think that she's going with.
More like her backup plan.
Right, her backup. It's like if Has-Been Hotel doesn't work out, Helluva Boss already seems to be doing wonderful, and they've already we only just now saw the newest episode, which was pretty good. Pretty good. But we'll get into that in a bit. So this episode might be a bit longer because we're going to be talking about all three episodes a little bit separately, almost like talking about three different movies. But we're going to start.
Well, it was
so in regards
like
to
any
the
pilots
episode, Noah, what did you think?
I just
of the
never had a happy feel to pilots. But it was good. It was productive.
Right.
It was kind of more like I like how it was kind of more of an infomercial than anything.
They went like a documentary type thing.
No, almost. Like a commercial. Like
okay.
If you have an accident, call these lawyers, sort of deal.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
the in it actually.
Yeah. But just like the running gag with the kid in that episode was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, with the kid, they thought they killed the wrong person.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Spoiler warning, everybody, for this. But yeah, I did like the first episode. What would you? Big part of the voice actors. Did you recognize any of those voice actors?
Yes. What is it? The guy.
Blitz.
What's his name? It's
the actor.
No, the character. The one. Not Millie.
Oh, Moxie.
Moxie. I was very surprised of hearing because that man's voice was my childhood due to Invader Zim.
Yep. A lot of people were surprised by getting the actual voice actor of Invader Zim to be in Helluva Boss.
So you already know it's like on the right path.
Right. Yeah. And he seems to be having a fun time just in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really good. I know a lot of YouTube series type stuff, like not a lot, but like most of the time, the
Get
reason
him
a
out.
series, yeah, a main reason a lot of series don't go well is because of the problems of like the how do I put it? I put it in the sense that the people that work with Vivziepop have multiple times commented how nice and how good of a boss she is. She's not pushy, but she's also firm. She's a good boss in general, and they have good chemistry with the people that are working on the projects.
Can we
And
just go
that's
over the fact that
what
super nice people are creating shows based from hell?
yeah.
That just is like fantastic to me.
It's like, oh, I love you guys. Let's shoot guns.
It's like I bet you if you meet these people person to person, they're going to be like, "Oh, hey, would you like to sit down with me, have a cup of coffee?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw them in a not a stream, but in a it wasn't the stream clips thing, but it was just a video. I think they went to a convention together, and just the way they're very nice people. They're just I mean they're people. It's like what they're human.
But yeah, just like I always thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Granted, this is only my personal thing on it. I love the series. Don't get me wrong. I love the whole stuff that Vivziepop is making. From a and I don't want to get into a whole religious stuff for people to get in the comments about. Like personally, the idea of demons being actually, yeah, no, of demons being humanized in a way. I'm not still not hot on that idea, but the concept, the show, I still like the show. I'm not trying to bash it or anything like that. That's just a purely religious aspect to it or anything like that. But it's still a well-made production, and it's satirical and all that. It's a good show. I just wanted to get that out of the way. So story, Noah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the whole plot device that they're using and the whole how they're telling the story and stuff?
It's kind of like they're make bad jokes, but put them in situations that make them good.
Okay, I can understand that. Um, I think the two episodes that have been released so far, the Murder Family and the Lulu Land, were both, in my opinion, I liked the episodes better than the pilot, which
Yes.
makes sense. You feel the same way, I'm sure. But again, the pilot, like you said, it was mainly designed for the purpose of, okay, here's these characters, they do these things, and that's what you have to look forward to. And once that's
Mm-hmm.
based, then you can actually dive into the story itself, like get into it and be like, oh, this stuff happens.
Yeah, as
Right.
long as those pilots are backed up with more like content,
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about it, you know?
Right. As long if you
Because
can make it to the if you can make a good series of episodes, then while the pilot may sometimes cause a hindrance, it is
yeah,
not the whole show. The pilot is not always in fact, I guess you could say the pilot is the whole show. And because of that, it's really hard to get a good pilot because it's really, really
yes.
difficult to start it.
But what was it? What was I about to say right now? Oh yeah. Um I really like what they did with the characters
Mm-hmm.
because if you're like a Invader Zim fan like I am,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get that vibe a bit from
Oh,
it because
yeah.
not only do you have the actor, but he also does some of the same quirks as Zim from
Right.
the show.
He he plays a um a character that not exactly, I guess, to a degree exaggerates everything. He's like a bad guy who's not a bad guy. And he's
Mm-hmm.
trying so hard, but everything else just wants to screw him over.
Yeah. I'm not
And he plays that kind of character very
100%
well.
behind the character who's the boss. Like the
Blitz.
character itself, not the voice actor.
Right, yeah, no. Brandon Rogers is a fantastic voice actor and all that, but you mean the character Blitz himself.
Yeah. He seems a bit too, what is it, cocky? Gung-ho?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, just for, continuity's sake.
Right. Yeah. And I can get that. Although I do think it's like what I see him as, I guess in many ways, I feel like he's the embodiment of what Brandon Rogers would be like if he was a demon.
Yep.
That's exactly like that's what I would imagine Brandon Rogers like personality wise being like if he was a demonic creature of some sort.
Yeah. And I just like the show because it's like basically played on the whole, what is it, thought process of like, oh, these are what these people would be like if they ever, you know,
Right.
did
Yeah.
go there.
It is interesting. Yeah, the characters' voices just fit very well with the characters themselves. Just in
Mm-hmm.
general, I'm glad they did. They chose very good like voice actors and all that for the whole series. Now, okay, that brings up a question I wanted to ask you. Or that I came up with more right now. That what if they were to delve into Blitz's backstory in some way, or maybe got a deeper episode about Blitz himself? Do you think that would improve his character to you?
I feel like it would kind of be like a Joker scenario, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
if you were nerdiness alert right now, how like back in the old comic books with Joker's backstory, how if he was going to pick a backstory, it'd be multiple choice, you know?
Huh. Oh my.
So it's like you never get a concrete backstory.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've heard a bit about that. I didn't. I was a bit surprised they did. I thought, like, as far as we as far as we know, Joker doesn't like. As far as we know, he hasn't confirmed to anyone what his backstory was
Correct.
necessarily. Like at least in the comics and all that, which is a clever way of doing things. He's still one of our biggest mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I could see it being like that, where it's like Blitz, like if they decide to go deep into his backstory, and like if they weren't going to do it in a joking manner, I could definitely see it definitely being like that. In that it's like, yeah, oh yeah, I have a backstory. Um, if you'd like
But
to
he
maybe
doesn't
get
give enough
right,
information to be
right, I did a
concrete.
thing. Yeah, I did a thing, and I died, and then that's what happened. Anyway, back to the job, and everyone's like, but that told us nothing. That explained nothing. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Like in episode 2, Lululand, like you
Uh-huh.
kind of got that, like that backstory a bit, like what his other jobs were before he became, the
Oh yeah,
boss.
completely forgot about that. Yeah, he at least at one point, he was a clown or he worked at the circus.
Yeah, but like I said, it's the whole Joker idea.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, he did things in the past, but we're not going to tell you what they were.
Yeah, you just gotta either figure them out yourself or just leave as is.
Like it may tell you what, but it won't tell you why, how, when, where.
Exactly.
Um. Yeah. I personally, I do kind of like Blitz's character, but out of the characters, I think I like. Hmm. I think the one I'd say I do like the most would have to be Moxie. Not just because of the voice actor, but because I like his his struggle in a sense, because like the feeling I get from him is that he was this is like the words that pop in my head. He was supposed to be the main character of his story, but Blitz turned out to be the main character of the story.
Exactly. Like, Moxie's got everything you're looking for a like show protagonist.
Mm-hmm. But
And then
he's
once
not.
and then once the show came out, he got completely shut down
Right.
by this weird demon man child.
Yeah. Like if you notice in this what is it, in episode 1 with the teacher, you know how Blitz presses those buttons to warn them, hey, come help me.
Yeah, just
One of did you read what all the rest of them
yeah.
said?
It was what was it? Drug dealer. Then
Uh-huh.
what was it?
One of them was
Decrepit customer, or
yes, the decrepit customer, or no, demented or something like
yeah,
that.
that was it.
But
Demented.
one of them was I credted my pants. So I was like, what?
Oh my goodness! Just full out button for crap my pants. Wow,
Right. It's like seriously.
that one flew right
That
by me.
that's what you expect. You expect them to do that for you. Like
Exactly.
you said man child, and that was why I was thinking of that. I was like, yeah, he really is.
Yeah, but it's just like how he acts. It's like, okay, you're this super demon that like owns a business, which in hell's probably a great feat.
Right. Like the
Yet
fact, yeah.
you just act so stupid.
Right. He acts like a baby, but he's got everything going for him almost.
Like if he
Like
was actually serious, he'd be a problem.
right. That's the thing. If he were to take this to a very serious degree, probably take some bait. Like I mean, legit, he could have. We don't know how long he's been dead. Well, actually, that brings up an interesting detail. So one
Mhm.
thing that we know about the whole world of Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel now is, and this is a bit of lore, based on the previous episode, on Hazbin Hotel and all that. We now know that people who die and go to hell do not seem to age. They don't age. They become demons and they don't age for the rest of their
Well,
time there.
yeah, they're
But
demons. Where
right,
else are they going to go?
that's true. But people that are born, the demons that are born in hell, do age for some
Yep.
reason. If you take it from episode 2 in Lululand, and even in Hazbin Hotel, the fact that the main character in that was a baby at one point proves that already. But you see it even more now in the second episode of Helluva Boss, because the daughter of the owl guy is now a teenager. So
Yeah,
there's
and that
definitely some story there.
yeah, and that kind of brings up to my own. I don't know if it's been trademarked or not, but my own thought of the demigod theory,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like how in mythology there's this god or goddess, and they you know
They do the Texas Smash.
with with a mortal, and then you get this half god, half human.
Right.
Those characters still grow old,
Right.
yet they kind of stop at a certain, I guess, age.
Right. It's like a halfway kind of aging. Like they kind of age, but they don't. They stop it. Yeah, they usually stop at some point. Or isn't there a thing where they can choose if they want to continue as human or like God or something like that? Or if they want to something like that?
That mostly works with heroes,
Okay.
like from the Greek mythology, where if you kind of like do a heroic deed, become a true hero, you can
Mm-hmm.
either join your
Oh, right.
brethren,
Okay, yeah. It's like
Mount
if you be
Olympus, or be regaled as a hero when you die and go to Elysium or
uh-huh.
Elysium.
Uh-huh.
Same with the whole Valhalla thing in Norse.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense. So you were going so yeah, you were saying about the demigod theory. They
Yeah,
do
but
stop aging at a point.
so I kind of feel like that's what happens when you're a born into hell demon
That
than
would make
a
sense.
dropped into hell demon.
Right. That would make the most sense because um, you wouldn't because it's like if they do age, aging is the process of death. Like we're constantly dying at all times because we're aging.
Yeah.
So it's like where are they gonna go? Like it's like even what what's his name? Angel Dust said in Has Been Hotel.
Hmm.
If it's like what would I
It's
wait,
like
if
I'm
I
already,
died, right, I'm already dead. Would I go to double hell?
or it's like, what am I, double dead?
Right. Yeah. So it's like there's no way. So that means that then that brings up an interesting thing that'll probably be a really big plot point is the thing that Hasbin Hotel began with, the purge,
Oh
which
yeah.
shows there must be limited space in hell. So they
Well,
must have to kill a amount of of beings. So that brings up my question of does that mean that their version of death would be more along the lines of you just stop existing entirely? Like if like you as a demon or as a person who came to hell after dying, you just stop existing entirely.
well, I think what they're trying to say is kind of like, because heaven and hell always at war, yada yada Christian stuff, right?
Right, right.
In order to make sure second coming doesn't come too early,
Hmm.
you kind of gotta cut the crop a bit.
Right, right.
And probably it's the same for heaven. I mean, well,
Hmm.
not really, because as
At least within this world.
yeah, and what our screwy religions believe that, like, in a heaven and hell, no matter what you think of, um, where it's like the kind of idea, the picture that everybody thinks of heaven is like this vast sky of cloud people with wings, all happy and you know
Right.
legal, like rightfully when the time's right, set inhibitions go. Um,
Hmm.
where hell's just kind of like the broom closet, so to speak.
Right. It's like in this world, they make it different in that, like in the real world, as far as I believe, you have heaven and hell, and it's like when we say it's a cloud of skies, and we're not like being as literal about it as we think, but that's more of a depiction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in this world that she's building, that she's making, I think it is definitely a more it's
More
similar in many ways
literal
to
thing.
Purgatoni. It's like Purgatoni and the whole idea of like it's a world where it's not all permanent and not everything is what you think it is. Like people are still people when they go to hell, and people are still people when they go to heaven and stuff. And so it'll be interesting to see if they delve into in the story in any way what heaven is like in that world she's making. Like, because they have not talked about that at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's been no point that they've brought up heaven at all in this story. So I don't know if that'll be a plot point or if we just maybe never actually address that. In at least in Hell of a Boss, I don't expect them to address it. They might in Has Been, but yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. But like you said, there's still be people in hell or heaven. It's
Hmm.
just it can't when you see this how the series goes, it's kind of like, huh, it's bad, but you kind of feel like, hey, root for the morally bad guy.
Right, right. They it kind of makes you want to root for the morally bad guy in uh in the in this like world. Which I mean, to some degree, you can get like I mean, there are people still kind of root for like people still root for Deadpool, but he
Yeah,
is the definition of a morally technically a morally bad guy. Like, sure, he may help the good guys, but it's like, is there money
for his own
involved?
profit.
How will it? Yeah, it's for his own profit. If it'll help him, he'll do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
That's his thought process. So in many ways, you could describe Deadpool is an anti-hero. So in I think her world, in Vivziepop's world, she's made, it's not a question of it's not of saying that anyone in hell, the people in hell, are now evil, eternal suffering, like we believe in the real world. At least, I mean, depending on your religion or whatever. But more along the lines of, in her world, it's everyone in hell is more of an anti-hero, and they have what you like. It's anti-hero and bad guys down there. There's just no heroes other than, I guess you could say,
the ones that self-proclaim them.
right. Anyone who self-proclaims, "Hey, I'm actually the good guy. I'm trying to do the good thing." But most of them, pretty much everyone, is supposed to be like an anti-hero. Angel Dust is an anti-hero. Alistair is a villain.
Yeah, Alistair is way on villain, but no, and then like the anti-heroes are like like Angel Dust, but then they also are trying to depict like there's a few good nuggets. Like Charlie or Moxie. Millie's a very good example of that.
Millie is an interesting character, honestly. I think that reminds me, actually. The one thing that I'm really, really wanting to know, and a lot of people have been wanting to know, is like you look at Blitz and you're like, oh, it makes sense that he's in hell based on the way he is. He is what I would call basically a villain. He is kind of a villain. You could maybe say an anti-hero,
a dopey villain.
Not really. He's a dopey villain. That's it. He's like the Joker. But then you take
more like
who?
More like one of those like kidnappers from the 101 Dalmatians movie.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Like they're bad guys, but it's not like they're
stupid when they're being evil.
Yeah, right. They're stupid when they're being evil. So it's like it's not like they're a big threat to anybody. Like Alistair is stupid on purpose. He knows he's powerful.
He plays the game how he wants.
Right. And so it's not exactly the same thing as Blitz, who is trying to play the game. He is playing his game, but he's not really thinking about the big picture.
He's losing at his own game.
Right, he's losing at his own game. But what I'm curious about is you take Millie and Moxie. Like the wolf girl, I forget her name.
Luna.
Luna, right. Luna, she might be kind of obvious. Like I could see her having done something she shouldn't have, and because
she's
going to
more
hell
like
for it.
She is literally in my head the embodiment of this kid committed suicide.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And had a punk attitude going down.
Right. I could definitely see it being one of those issues. But then Millie and Moxie. Millie, she's kind of like I don't know, right? It's like I'm really curious because like she's a nice, kind person, but she has this moral belief, this immoral belief of, oh, it's okay. I don't mind killing people. You know, that's fine. Like I'm a demon anyway, so it's fine. You know, but I'll be kind to you if you're nice to me. You know, if you're nice, then I'll be fine about it. But I mean, I got to do what the client wants. It's interesting. You know, it's like it's confusing for me. So I'm curious about her.
She's not very she's not confusing to me because, well, I've been watching too much TV for my own good to know that she's like, oh, everybody's bad, but there's always that one happy-go-lucky person in the group.
Right. Okay.
And due to the relationship with Moxie and her, they are portrayed as the Bonnie and Clyde group as well.
Well, then that brings up the question, what got Moxie to come to hell? Take what he said in episode 1, where he said, I could understand perhaps perhaps a mob family or something like that. But he was basically saying, like, unless the family was really bad, I would not understand why we would want to kill a family or anything like that. And even then, even if it was a bad family, I wouldn't fully understand, like, why would we need to do that?
And that's where
one of those things.
Yeah, and that's where he classifies me as the angel that got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Where it's
Like, hey, keep it going. I'll be right.
like he's the in his past life of the living, he was a good guy, didn't really steer anybody wrong, but that one wrong move that he did, which was probably when he met Millie, was when probably when they died, they were robbing a bank or something, and that got him screwed over. And because of that, he became a low-level demon, and that's how we got the Moxie. Um, yeah, he is a bit of an enigma, but most enigmas usually lead to being either really nice or really crazy. And I can't wait to see later on episodes which direction that will be. So yeah. Or not so much like he could either be like the angel that got the short end of the stick, or wow, this guy was a real pushover when he was alive. And the dynamic between Millie and Moxie was she was the one that wore the pants in the relationship, and she was probably like, you know, nice southern hospitality, but oh, I'm the daughter of a KKK member, so not everything is honky dory. Which probably led them to situations that eventually got them killed and sent to hell. Much to the jargon of Moxie. But he still loves her and would probably do it all over again just to be with her. But I have to say, with Vivziepop's way of making shows, how she's portrayed Charlie and Moxie, they're very good characters, just a bit misguided due to their environment. Like, if Charlie wasn't the daughter of the Demon King, she'd probably be the nicest. She'd probably have that one way ticket to heaven when she died. And Moxie, well, Moxie's probably, if he didn't do whatever bad thing that got him dead and sent to hell, would probably be in the same boat, going to heaven.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, hey, I started to lose words for a bit.
Oh, were you rambling?
Yeah, a bit. For the gist of the thing, I was saying that, like,
Mm-hmm.
Moxie's, like, that angel that got the short end of the stick, and most likely the only reason why he's even there is probably, like I said, Bonnie and Clyde. Millie's
Right.
and Millie feels more like she wore the pants of the relationship.
Yeah, it seems like it. He tries to, but it's like she just like, it's okay, buddy, it's all right. Pats it. Yes, you can be in charge for today. It's all right.
Yeah, it's like he's too nice to be there, but yet
Mm-hmm.
probably
It's like he
hanging with
followed. It's like
Millie.
he followed Millie down there, type of thing.
Yeah,
It feels
and
like that.
and through my rambling, I also came to a thought conclusion like Millie feels like, oh, I'm Southern hospitality, preacher's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
but yet, dad's part of the KKK, sort of deal.
Oh, I could see that. That'd be interesting if that was like if you like just predicted it right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's our theory. That's the theory today.
But and then part of that just was I was also thinking like, if Charlie from Hazbin Hotel and Moxie, if one wasn't the demon daughter of the like ruler of hell, and the other one didn't follow Millie down the warpath, I think they'd be in the same boat to heaven. You know?
Yeah. They don't. Charlie and Moxie don't seem like the kind of characters that belong down there necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Now, granted, in like as far as we're concerned, if someone really didn't belong in hell, like you wouldn't expect to see them there. But still, it does seem like the kind of predicament of they made a decision and they happened to die with that decision. So
Yeah.
other than Charlie was born down there. But,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
yeah, it's like she got the short end of the stick because she was there from the beginning. So it's like she didn't really have a choice on that matter. So yeah, we had that was a big hardware section.
Yeah.
Gotta spend some good time. But now what time is it?
Software.
So to start off with, I'd say the animation to begin with is actually and I'm sure anyone could attest to this, but it is very, very inspired by Invader Zim. Just the
Yes.
characters from a physical, like the way the limbs work, how it has like that the cartoony, just like it's cartoonish, but you can
No
definitely
real
see the inspiration.
spherical.
Right. It's not a spherical type thing. It's like
More jagged edges.
it's jagged edges, but it's also like the shapes and all that. It's cartoon. It
Yeah,
is Invader
it's
Zim style.
embodiment of just cartoon.
They even did a stream, or they did like a Q&A where they filled in that they all, I believe Vivziepop at least, and several of the people who are working on this were huge Invader Zim fans. Like it was their childhood. Which so
Yeah.
it makes sense that their stuff would be inspired by that. Like I take my animations, my cartoony ones have a very Looney Tunes vibe to them because I grew up with Looney Tunes and old black and white films and things like that. And so it makes sense the inspiration would go into the animation. Oh, that's a good quote. Inspiration to animation.
And if I ever learned how to properly draw or stuff like that, I'd probably go down the same path as Vivziepop, because Invader Zim was, well, not only Invader Zim, but Invader Zim and what's that show? You probably don't know it. It's Ren and Stimpy. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of it, but no, I never watched it.
Like it'd be very like smooth bad guys, kind of like a smooth talker, or like you feel okay with the jerk of the group, you know?
Right.
I just love, and also I love the color scheme they used.
Oh, they did very well from a color theory standpoint. I have to say that they went with the very cartoony version of saying these colors mean very specific things. We're not trying to be like it's a mystery with the colors. Know we're in hell. So everything's black and red and these deep bright, and some things are bright demonic looking things. They have some things, even their eyes glow sometimes. It's
And
like,
when
that's
they use
what we have.
Yeah, and then when they use the opposite colors of that, like the blues and the whites, it's very like too much. Like,
right,
if it's gonna be a white, it's gonna be a very porcelain or makeup looking white.
right.
Or if it's gonna be a blue, it's like a very, very like whitish blue or sapphire.
Right, and it's like when they use those other colors, they don't necessarily use them always like
frequent.
Right, and even if they don't use them frequent, they also use them in a sense that it's supposed to be mystical or mythical in a way. Like the fire in what's it called? The second episode of Lululand, the fire was green. They made it green fire on purpose to emphasize the fact that this is like hellfire. Explosions are sometimes like a bright purple, like they did in Has Been Hotel. It's when they use those other bright colors, unless you take the part where Charlie's singing, Charlie's song, that was an example of very pastel colors, of like the bright pastel stuff like that. And she even tries to embody that in a mix with her like hellish look.
Yeah.
It
Like,
looks her shirt looks like she was trying to get pastel colors, but like couldn't find all of them.
no, because you can't find them
Right,
there.
they're not down here.
Um, like literally in that same clip with the song, the only time you actually see bright colors is when they're on fire.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, color wise, yeah, color theory, very good with the color theory, and it's like they went with the obvious standpoint of it. Because like I'd like to take another film that I'd love, I absolutely demand that we do a review on it someday, is what's the oh crud, hold on, give me a second. I can't remember. It's a movie by M. Night Shyamalan. Um uh it's the I See Dead People thing.
Oh, Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense, my absolute favorite movie by M. Night Shyamalan, with my absolute favorite twist in film.
Yeah.
We won't spoil it right now. We won't. We'll try not to. But they have a thing in it. I'm not going to talk too much on it, but they have a thing in it where color is subtle. It's important, but it's subtle. So when
Yep.
you see when you find out at the end of the film or later on in the film about what those different colors meant, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense. I get it, type of thing.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't think I've really seen. I think I've caught like the end of that movie.
Okay. You and we
So
definitely need to watch that. I want, or just you should see the whole thing. It's a fantastic, even though there's some jump scares. I know it is a horror film. It's supposed to be scary. So,
it's like one
and
of
I
those
know we have
pseudo
problems.
1997 horror films, right?
Yeah. It's one of his older works, but definitely one of his best. It has this kid in it from Ransom for Red Chief, and I believe it has um
Well, it's got Die Hard guy
right.
in it.
It's got him in it, and he did a wonderful job. But then, if you do watch the movie, you also need to look at the special features because there's this little documentary that fills in a few blanks that makes you just go, "What? That was genius!" type of things, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, as far as the color is going, that is the opposite of what they did in the Helluva Boss and the
Yeah.
whole world that they're doing. Vivziepop uses obvious colors to show you the obvious message in the scene, whereas the M. Night Shyamalan was using a color that would be obvious after you've seen it.
Yeah.
Now it is not obvious anymore. It's like, oh,
I
uh,
see it now.
no, if you haven't seen it before, you won't get it. But now you see, oh, that's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the difference between subtle and obvious, and they can both be used very well. One other example of obvious use of like just design is the My Hero Academia. The characters' suits, the way their bodies look, just how they act, show you everything about the character. You take Bakugo, explosive power. His hair is explosive. His outfit has grenades on it. It's like, oh, I wonder if he has anything to do with explosions,
Yeah.
type of thing. And I love that. If you can do it right, making an obvious gesture with design and color can be very good. So taking the designs of the characters within the series as a good standing point. Charlie from Hazbin Hotel is supposed to be like a dog. She has puppy-like designs, and she even makes some dog-like sounds.
Yeah.
Um, Moxie and Millie and all of them, they seem to be imps.
Yeah, they're imps, which
Right.
are the lowest level of demon you can ever
Right.
be.
They're the very lowest. Oh, which okay, actually, I don't know why we didn't consider this at all. But here's a question: what if they were born down there?
What, the hell of a boss?
Right, the Helluva Boss characters. Like, how do we know they weren't born in hell? Because like,
Because then
what?
uh they have more uh non-reptilian features.
They have more humanoid looks to them.
like they would have more, like, take for example in the same show has been Hell of a Boss. The what's the owl guy's name?
The owl guy, he's Stolas.
Stolas. He's rich, empowered, and his family's been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he doesn't look like him and his family or other people that are like him don't look as reptilian or humanoid as uh, the imps, you know?
Okay.
Because, and then look at Charlie, like you said, puppy dog features, but then look at her girlfriend who looks,
Vaggy.
yeah, who looks more human, but when she gets more demon-esque, she kind of looks uh, like Viper, you know?
Right. That's true. They have more human-esque, like most of the. Well, then what about Angel? Well, okay, I guess Angel does have like humanoid like ways and stuff like that. And there's the thing of, but then that's one other question. Then how old do you think would Moxie be? Because when he goes up to Earth and he picks up the phone, he says, "Do you have a cellular device to summon 911 instead of call 911?" Even though they have phones in hell, so I'm curious about that as far as Moxie is concerned. He might be way older because like they do say like you said, since people who come to hell don't seem to age at all, like from the point that they got there. So,
Well, you can pick up on those cues a lot better when you see
mm-hmm.
the show because in the pilot, you remember their first client that they were using the commercial for?
Uh-huh.
The guy with the, I don't know, something hillbilly on it.
Right.
He looked so featureless, yet you knew he was very demon.
Right. Yeah.
And he was brand new there, right?
Right.
That's how you can tell the difference between the age process with the demons.
Yeah.
Because with Millie and Moxie, Millie's younger than Moxie due to their
Right.
hair color.
Oh, yeah, Moxie. Yeah, Moxie would definitely he is like he has a slight grayish tint. Doesn't he have like a streak of gray too? And like the horns have some white on them, I think.
He has white hair and little white rings on his horns.
Right. Yeah, he does. So
But and
he's
then he looks more featured with like more nose detail as
right.
well.
Oh, also the fact that he wears like trench coat like stuff.
Yeah. So you
He
could probably date him around the time when cell phones weren't really a thing.
like phones were, but not like cell phones. And because of that, if he's been in hell long enough, it would make sense for him to eventually start saying summon instead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, that's our
And
theory on that.
yeah, and with that whole color scheme thing again, like look at Charlie, and since she's the daughter of King of Hell,
Mm-hmm.
she's so white, like her father. Same with
Yeah,
her
she's
mother.
pale
They've been there
practically.
basically since it started.
Right, they've been there since forever. So
So yeah,
yeah,
they would have a choice of whatever the hell they looked like.
right. They just be like, hey, what do you want to look like? White.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wears like a whole white pimp outfit. So
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
so yeah, animation, color wise, all those were fantastic. I will say one thing. A little thing about the animation, and I'm vaguely sure this is more of a style choice, but it's like you said that it is more rigid animation, and or at least the character designs and all that, the lines are rigid like Invader Zim, and because of that, the motions as well are in when I watch it at least, it is more rigid than some like animation that most of the animation I normally watch. Like so, like take them in episode 1 when Millie is fighting Farmer Tuck. Um, when they're doing that fight, the motions of it portrayed the story. It was cartoony, but it didn't feel, I guess the best word for it would be smooth or natural, or like natural movements for like the way he hit her or the way they were moving around. And like, I'm not saying necessarily that it was bad animation work. I'm saying that smoothness of that type isn't what they were going for. So while I personally prefer things to be I'm trying to think of a good example of like animation that has like there's this one animator who animated a YouTuber called Dream, and he's like a Minecraft speedrunner, and somebody animated one of his best moments. But the way the animation is done, there's certain motions in it that make it so gosh danged fluid. And because of the way that it's done, it's bouncy yet fluid, and it's because of that, it's so insanely smooth, at least in comparison to something like Helluva Boss. And so, in comparison, I would say as far as animation goes, that is an aspect that I don't think they were going for, which is why it isn't a major part of it. Now, I don't think they should, or that they're planning to change that, because again, it's not what they're trying to do. I don't think, type of deal. They're trying to. It's the artistic look. It's the backgrounds. It's the characters. It's about the characters. It's stuff like that, and it's good animation. Don't get me wrong. It's very good animation, but it's not concentrated as far as smoothness goes for flow. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't concentrate on flow very much. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
Well, and then you have to remember these are, granted, they are excellent videos, but yet they're still just that, videos. So
Right.
it's not like they have like a whole like super building full of like illustrators and
Right. They're
animators.
not a bit. They're not a company necessarily. They're
Yeah,
not.
that
They're not Disney trying, or like Warner Brothers or anything like that. They are a group of individuals who have come together to do something.
exactly. And they're
So.
not getting paid really much.
Mhm.
Like this is a hobby that they want to make a business out of.
Right. Yeah, they want to do this, and that so they've taken the initiative to do it and stuff like that. So like if when there's something like this that is very arbitrary. It's like it's not something someone's going to look at unless you're trying to find the mistakes. I actively look for the goods and the bads when I'm watching anything, as I'm sure you do to a degree as well, since we're doing reviews now. Um
Mm-hmm.
but like since I'm an animator, I always look for the goods and bads in other people's animation as well as in my own. So so it's like, and even businesses, big time business people can make big time mistakes. Take X-Men Apocalypse. There's a frame, I might show it to y'all one of these days, but there is a frame. If you get the actual film DVD from the company and everything, there is a frame in there where all the animated CGI like parts of it disappear completely. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's one frame, nobody notices because it's 60 FPS, but it's like because that one frame is just gone, and it's like nobody would notice, but it's just a funny thing to think about that even big companies like that definitely make mistakes. And so of course there's going to be some mistakes made by a group of individuals, but still, it's a wonderfully animated, wonderfully drawn, wonderful team, wonderful everything. Um, I'm trying to think. There was if there was anything else we wanted to go off on. There's a lot of details that that I don't have like access to, or that I have not quite looked up. This was kind of a
Yeah.
rushed episode. Uh, I actually think that's just about it. Actually,
Yep.
I think we've gone on for about an hour. In fact, let me
Yeah.
see how long have we been going today.
We've been
almost an hour. It's like a few more minutes and it'll be an hour.
yeah. So yeah, let's I believe go to our ratings of the show.
Yes. So hardware section. What would you give it?
I'd give it a solid 7.
7 out of 10.
Because fantastic everywhere. I'm just wanting to make sure it lasts till end of
Right.
season 1.
Yeah, we want to see. It's hard. Again, it is hard to make a lot of judgments. We'll probably do another episode about Helluva Boss after the first season is finished.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll probably be a really big review again.
Yeah.
Going over all the episodes. So you give it a 7 out of 10, and it's more. We're gonna wait to. We want to see the full season before we make a final judgment on it.
Yes.
For software, I'd give it honestly a good not 8 out of 10. Actually, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 only for one reason. First reason being the little smoothness thing, but that's not too major. That's just my personal preference. Secondly, the only reason it was not a 9 out of 10 was because a similar thing that you said about the colors. It is very vibrant. It is a very active show, or visually. But because of that, sometimes it was hard to pick it up, to see it, to feel the visuals. It was similar to Apocalypse Day in that regard, that sometimes I felt like I couldn't fully grasp everything that was happening.
Yep.
So, but still, very good. A solid 8 out of 10. I would not give it any lower as far as the software section goes. It's an 8.5 at least.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only improving with every episode, so it'll be exciting. I'll be excited to see more as time goes on. But yeah, that's our ratings on Helluva Boss. If you guys want, maybe eventually we'll do another episode on Has Been Hotel, but we kind of talked about it in today's episode, and I'd also, like we said, we'd like to wait for the seasons to be over. So
yeah.
Next week, we were supposed to do it this week, but we'll get it right this time. Sorry, there's cars passing by. But next week we will be talking about, or actually, if you want to know a week in advance what next week's episode will be about, then join the Discord in the description below and follow our Twitter at Gabe and Noah1, where you can also get both updates on uploads, and you can suggest ideas to us as you would in the comment section down below. You can suggest movies, films, TV shows, animes, doesn't matter, and we will try to get to those. But yeah.
So yeah, have a great day, night, afternoon.
Yeah, whatever time it is for you. I'm Gabriel.
Now I'm Noah.
And this has been Chair Champions
Talk.
Talk, yes.
So catch you later.
See ya.